Come here. Look at this. Hey, stupid mother, he's just begging to be done.
Hey, welcome back to Astrologicals Racing. This is going to be the last video of 2024 as we step into 2025 here in the next couple of hours. I think we're 2 hours away from 2025. There's been a lot of things that have changed and altered over the past year on this rig. I moved, got this office space, a lot of the components have changed, and I'm just really excited to share this updated, all of these components that I added to the rig. But most important, I'm going to be answering a lot of questions that you guys had pertaining to the rig in general, maybe even throw out some schematics out there pertaining to the roof, the roll cage, the side flooring, and everything of that nature. So the first thing that we're going to get into is run down on literally everything from the ground up, from the frame to the rig, to the actual hardware, to all the components, to the shifters, to the monitors, to the PC specs, to the roll cage, maybe even a little bit of pricing breakdown, stuff like that, so that you guys have a pretty good understanding or a baseline if you do want to get into sim racing or create something similar. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the schematics of this entire build. All right, let's go ahead and get started into the tour here. So the first portion that we're going to cover over here is the work area where I do all of my YouTube content, videography work, photography, everything of that nature. This is where all the magic happens right here. All with this little laptop. It's only a 4050 laptop, but I tell you what, it's a 4K beast. It's not that bad. It's not horrible. It's not the best, but everything is essentially done with a laptop, as you can see here. For the camera, I have an EOS R6 Mark II. Excellent for professional photography and videography. All the videos and content that you guys have been seeing, everything recently, including a lot of the B-roll shots, have been shot on this camera with a Sigma 24-70. And this is my buddy Zeus. I've had him for quite a while, as you guys probably seen him at the last place as well. Got myself, actually, you guys are gonna laugh at me, but I literally got this chair off of Temu. I swear I did, and you wouldn't believe what I paid for it. I think I only paid 130 bucks for this chair, and I kid you not, this thing is extremely nice. I was really impressed with how well it was. Extremely comfortable, very plush, very soft, and when you're editing for long periods of time, you want yourself a decent chair to sit in. Also got this microphone, very nice. It's USB connection, no fancy XLR here. And then of course, get over to the actual wheels. So first wheel we're going to cover right here is the GT Phenom Pro by ACELITH. They were so generous and so nice to send me this wheel for review that I cover extensively. If you guys want to check out that review, I'll tag that below. Then we're moving on to the SimMagic FX Pro, which is actually one of my personal favorites that I recently got from SimShop LLC. Shout out SimShop. If you guys are looking for anything SimMagic related, this is your go-to source, mainly because they're fast, they're prompt, their customer service is unmatched, and of course, they're all US based as well. Another wheel to cover right here is another ACELITH wheel from Italy. This is one of the first wheels that I actually had as an upgrade from them, which was, as you can see, maybe even 6 or 8 months ago, this was a pinnacle of my rig for the longest period of time. I covered this in the last review last year. I still have the SimMagic C-style wheel with the AliExpress button box, which is still pretty sweet. It's not terrible. And of course, I have some more boxes, miscellaneous items there at the bottom. And of course, let's not forget to keep all of the boxes for accessories. Right here, this is pretty vital to have. I think that every sim racer should have these. This is a set of Allen keys, and this is also a set for the rig itself. So I have a personalized tool set with all types of different torque wrenches, Allen keys. Anytime I need to make adjustments, I'm able to do so on the fly. Just grab it and keep moving. Let's get into the lighting real quick. So the lighting here, as you can see, this is one of my favorite. This is by Neweer. I think that's Neweer. This is an RGB light, and it's all variable from this right here. It's actually super cool because this is all touchscreen, and I can change this any color that I want. I think this was about 90 bucks. But based on that, this is touchscreen. You can change this to a stagnant light, change it to that cool blue that I typically go to. And it's all wireless. It's all battery operated as well. So that creates a really cool dynamic for video work, anything that I'm covering basically. And then this is just a temperature light. This is also by, again, Neweer. Amazing. And this has the capability of being battery operated as well. Another aperture box right here. I think this is a 27-inch Neweer as well. And this is a honeycomb grid-like solution to create this insane dynamic within the rig, as you can see. So what that does, it actually allows me to create this stagnant light within the rig to create this external environment and bring it inside of the rig, which is one of the most important things that you could actually do to create this augmented like experience. Lighting, everything when it comes to creating a realistic experience, especially like video work. It's one of the biggest things that I studied as well. It is a Pseudophoto RGB. Forgot the wattage on this one exactly, but here you have all the controls. This is also Bluetooth controlled, which means I can control this all from my phone, which I'll show you real quick. So what I can do on the fly, I can literally change the brightness, I can change the color temperature, all right here at my fingertips. And there's all types of different modes that you can also do. You can also do like the interior purple light, which is amazing. And then of course you can go yellow, pink, blue, green. If I wanted to color match something with the camera, I could literally, so let me flip this open real quick. So let me see, let me take a picture of this red or this blue color right here, right? Or that purple. It just captured that purple on the button box, right? So now this is accurately displaying exactly what that upper right-hand button is based on the actual color that I'm trying to pull. Insane, right? So all at my fingertips, so I don't have to keep getting up and down on my rig. Really awesome stuff. So this is highly recommended to really anybody that's trying to create really cool videos. Of course, FPV videos, so you're not having to get up and down all the time. You have the control of light at your fingertips. Let's get over to the PC real quick. Okay, so I don't necessarily get all the way back here, but I will do my best right here. So what we have here is an RTX 3080, beautiful. Now I moved into a mid-tower case as of recent, and then I have, I think, 64 gigabytes of RAM. I have an AMD 5800X CPU. I have a liquid-cooled AIO CPU, which keeps my temperatures basically freezing cold as well. So this is kind of how I just set up back here. And I have this light, you know, that if it's kind of dark, wires don't look very good. But you can actually see all of my terrible mess down there as well. So as we're moving around, let's go ahead and get into the actual pedals. So these are actually by Ghost Sim Racing, and let me pull around to here so we can get a better look. Ghost Sim Racing sent me these pedals not too long ago, and what these are, they are actually upgraded and decked out SimJack Ultimates. And as you guys know, I did a review on these not too long ago, and the biggest takeaway from these is that yes, they are like their own spin-off SimJack Ultimates, but the biggest thing is that they already come pre-installed with all of these little upgrades right here. So all of the bearings, all of the little red things that you see right there, all the accent colors are all upgrades that you can add on as an option. Now, what's the biggest kicker about these? It's US based. I don't have to wait 6 weeks to get them in the mail. And the cool thing about it is that you have direct access with Taylor, and he's just a charm to deal with as well. Let's go ahead and get into the next section. So we got the pedals covered. Let's get into the actual rig itself. So this is an ASR3 rig frame from Advanced Sim Racing. Probably one of my favorite components of the entire rig, because without a strong foundation, you're really not going to have a pleasant experience when it comes to sim racing. I think that's one of the most important things that you could do for your rig. So real quick, what I'm going to do real quick, I'm going to light this up for you guys inside the rig and get some lighting here real quick, because it is pretty dark. All right. That's a little bit better, so I just switched that. So to really touch on here was the Philips Hue lighting, right? I have 4 Philips Hue lights. As you can see, I got 2 in the center. I got 1 on the left-hand side right over here, and then 1 all the way to the right over here. The reason why I have all of these hooked up inside the rig is because I'm trying to create this external environment. I'm trying to bring it into the actual cockpit itself so that when I'm driving through trees, I'm driving through different times of the day, it's actually able to capture that and bring everything that's on the outside of these windows inside the car accurately at the right temperature. If I'm going under a tree or whatever it is, it's able to display that accurately and flash lights accordingly. And it's really awesome to drive at night. Also with all of the lightning effects as well. So we covered the frame. We have the ASR 3 Advanced Sim Racing 3 frame, which was really awesome to build out. I built this, I think I've had it for about 3 years now. So this rig has been through quite a bit of upgrades and it's definitely taken a beating, not gonna lie. Let's move on to the actual wheelbase. So the wheelbase is a SimMagic Alpha Ultimate 23 Newton meters. This is the top of the line wheelbase that you can possibly get. The best one that you can get for SimMagic, 23 Newton meters. Again, also got through Sim Shop LLC, amazing guys right over there, including the wheel, which is the SimMagic GT Neo, which I reviewed not too long ago, maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago. If you guys want to check out that review, I think that one's really awesome as well. All right, so next we have the Daytona Momo XXL. Now, as for reference, guys, I am 6'5". I am roughly about 250 pounds, and I needed something that's gonna actually suit my body type, my structure, everything like that. So the only thing that I had as an option, yes, I probably could have gotten, an inspired FIA seat as well, probably for a lot less, is the bucket seat, which is all fiberglass and also mounted on an F1 style bracket as well to kind of give this posture as well that I have in the rig. So I'm leaning back quite a bit, which I'm a huge fan of this seat as well. This is probably one of my favorite upgrades that I added to the rig because it's extremely comfortable. Being a larger person like this, it's very nice to have, the flexibility of like a bucket seat. And I also did put this onto a slider, so everything is able to be moved forwards and backwards and everything like that as well. So let's go ahead and move on past the seat here. The next portion is, let's go ahead and get into the actual, like the center console area. All right. So what we have here in the center console area is a SimX, and I got this actually from AliExpress, the SimX button box 7-inch display. And I will be honest, man, like the biggest reason I didn't drop a review for this one specifically is because honestly, this was extremely difficult to set up. Call it what you want, man. Like I had to decipher Chinese, Japanese, and all of these different types of instructions that honestly did not line up. So setting this up was nearly impossible. I'm not gonna lie. So once I did set it up, I think it's 100% worth it. I mean, look at the details. This whole front face is actually all carbon fiber. It looks really good. It's all compatible with SimHub. All of these are mappable buttons, so everything turns out really nice once you have all these mapped out and everything like that. Right here, I actually have a makeshift air controller. So this turns on. I have airspeed right here, which is actually really awesome. So I can, if I get a little warm in here, I can get some air at least blowing and circulation inside of here. But I'll be honest, for the most part, I keep my house on like 71, 72 degrees Fahrenheit, and it doesn't get too hot in here. So even with the PC running, it's actually not that bad. Let's get into, so the thing is a SimJack sequential shifter. If you guys are looking for a really solid, cheap alternative for a sequential shifter, you can definitely go this route. These things are freaking awesome. This is a carbon fiber little plate on the top here. This is all adjustable as well. You also have a SimJack H pattern shifter here as well, which was really awesome. And then this is an Etsy button box that I literally just put over here on top of the Track Racer XL mount, where I house my mouse,
And I actually wrapped this in Alcantara as well, so this is nice and soft. I had to get rid of some of the metal inside of here, so that was kind of a plus. And then of course you got the side floor over here, which we'll get into later. Up here we have a race timer by DSS Simulations, which honestly, one of my favorite components. This is all touchscreen as well. This will display relevant race information as pertaining to, you know, your leaderboards, and you can display other relevant information as well. Right here is a cyberpunk style USB, basically a housing for all of my USB inputs. All of these are configurable. I can switch these on and off. But for the biggest thing, it's like, it just looks cool. And when you're inside the rig and you have everything set up accordingly, it just looks really awesome up there. I couldn't think of a better spot to put it. Right here, this is also, again, DSS Simulations, and this is all touchscreen, believe it or not. Compatible all through SimHub. Freaking amazing little component. I like to keep relevant. I actually keep the lovely dashboard. It's an Excel leaderboard on this screen where I can see all of the relevant information, track information. There's a little mini map on there. Let's get into the monitors. Now, I have three 32-inch 2560 by 1440p monitors. They are by Aegon, AOC. I looked up this monitor as of recently. I think that they discontinued these models. I don't see the 155 hertz anymore. I see the 144 version. VA panel, which for some people it's like, oh, is that a drawback? Are they bad? I'm like, these are not bad at all. Like, I'm actually pleased with you know, these monitors. And as you can see from my content, obviously they perform extremely well, and I have zero complaints about them. So again, they are AOC Aegon 32-inch 1500R curved 155 hertz 2560 by 1440p 2K monitors. Now that's quite a mouthful, but that's what they are. And at the time, I think I just paid a little under $300 for them. I think at the time. Now, I know that there's other options out there that you guys could get into. I think they have some standard AOC monitors. They're just not the AGON version, as you can see there. Don't know what that, you know, exactly entail. If you go the standard version, what that's going to do, the drawbacks, the setbacks, if there's a major difference. If there isn't one, maybe just get the cheaper versions of the AOC monitors, you know. So I'm going to be linking all these below in the as well. Let's talk about sound and haptics. So right back there, as you can see, I have some haptics on these pedals. What these are, they are SimMagic piston-like haptics for these specifically. Etsy has these where you can actually 3D print all of these different sizes. And what I did was, you know, I found an Etsy seller that was able to 3D print me these onto these pedals specifically. And what this will simulate, as a lot of you guys probably know, if I'm going over curbs or if I'm braking over certain things like that, this is able to simulate bumps, and it creates like this kickback to pedals where I'm able to articulate and translate, oh, maybe I'm braking too hard, or maybe I'm putting on the throttle too much because I'll feel the wheel slip and wheel lock as well. So a lot of cool different effects that you can assign for the SimMagic haptics, as well as a Dayton Audio BST1. As you can see here, that's also a bass shaker where I can simulate gear shifts. So if I miss a gear or if I'm feeling gears, I can simulate that and feel it through this shifter column as well. Another thing to note, I also have a BST1, or no, a 300EX under the pedal plate. I also have a bass shaker, I don't know if you can see that, right under here, mounted into the actual fiberglass of the seat. That's right, I said it. I mounted a bass shaker into the fiberglass of this seat. That probably wasn't a very smart move. Do you know why? This is an FIA seat, meaning I probably just voided this entire competition seat, FIA approved seat. When I was drilling directly into this fiberglass, I was scared. Let me put it that way. I was clenching both my butt cheeks like this as I was pre-drilling and stepping up from just little pin-sized holes. As I'm drilling into this seat, I'm like, please don't crack, please don't crack. Thankfully, I mounted everything with rivets. I did it the right way. I watched a guide, I watched a tutorial. I saw plenty of guys drilling directly into these, and I'm like, I don't know if I should do this, but I did it, and I did it successfully, and I haven't had any issues yet. Yeah, it's if you're gonna be drilling into bucket seat, I would highly recommend that you guys probably practice and do preset holes and all that stuff. Shout out also Colin, if you are watching this, you know exactly what I'm talking about right here. When I was drilling into this actual seat, bro, like I was sending you pictures left and right. It was nerve-wracking to say the least. But putting that aside real quick, we're gonna keep moving with this this tour. We covered the seat. This seat, again, guys, once you install a proper bucket seat to your rig, this is one of the most amazing things that you can possibly do. I'm also getting a Haptic, next level racing Haptic thing, where all this lifts up. This is all gonna lift up as well, and I'm gonna put a Haptic. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. There's a Haptic cushion that you could put here, and it simulates different road textures and everything like that. So that's also gonna be added to the rig. Possibly it'll be here tomorrow. Actually, probably Thursday. Tomorrow's New Year's. That's pretty much it for, I guess, the hardware. Let's get into the sound. So on the rig, I have a Z906 5.1 surround sound. As you can see with these columns here, I have these strategically placed on both sides with 3D mounted for my rears here. I don't know if you can see that one right over there. That one's also facing that way. I also have one right here, which right there. I have one back inside of here. You can see that one, yep. And then I have a center one right back here. And of course, I think this is probably one of the best spots to put it, is the subwoofer right behind your seat. So that's the Z906 5.1 surround. I've gone through, you know, sound systems. Honestly, I just wasn't very pleased with, you know, the quality we get from some of these sound systems. And truthfully, if you spend a little bit of extra money, you get what you pay for. Like ultimately, that's really what it boils down to. If you spend a little bit more money on, you know, the audio, these little upgrades, even when it comes to like Govee lighting and like that, it makes a world's difference. It really does. Some people are like, oh, you could cheap out on this stuff, and I did for the longest time. I think if you guys watch my last tour video, I said I don't like to spend a whole lot of money. I really don't. But I found out sooner than later that a lot of the things that, you know, I cut some corners on, or maybe I should have spent the extra $5 or $10 on, you know, certain components to end up paying for it later. So yeah, lessons learned, right? Let's go ahead and get into the actual roll cage real quick. So everything right here is all cut to spec, and this is gonna be saved for another video. I'm gonna go through all the dimensions. I'm gonna go through all of how I set this up. But this is all PVC. This is real FIA roll cage approved. Now I did cut all this. I know it looks like pool noodle. Now I have a pool noodle previously, but this is all FIA approved. It's all like fire hazard stuff, list stuff. So I have a elbow joint right here. This is a wide joint back there, which is, as you can see, it's kind of beginning to fail back there. So I do have to redo some of these portions. This is also part of the rig. The roll cage right up here. And then, so you have one piece going this way, you have a piece coming back at you, and then a piece going that way towards the right monitor. And as you can see, I have the center one just laying from the left side of the monitor all the way to the right and kind of just hiding there. Also, just pro tip, I don't know if you guys see this, but this is not functional. This is just a telephone wire. I'm just creating small little things inside the rig to make it look believable, right? So what I'm creating is this viewing experience for everybody to, you know, actually take hold of. One thing that's not in this video that I wish was is the new race nets that are also gonna be on the rig, probably within the next week or so. So I will be doing a full review on the new race nets that I'm gonna be getting. These race nets are by RJ's or RTS Racing Equipment, dedicated safety since 1959. I checked the other day. There's also a way for you guys, if you guys are looking for race nets, if you go to eBay, listen up, if you go to eBay, they have expired FIA race nets on there. This is a pro tip for you guys because I had no idea about this until about 2 weeks ago. So people are like, yeah, you could just buy race nets on eBay. I'm like, what do you mean you could just buy race nets on eBay? Yeah, there's expired ones that you can buy. Like, I'm like, why didn't I do that? Thankfully that these race nets on either side, and I have this kind of finagled back here. I tied it, right. I only spent maybe 70 bucks on these race nets at the time, but come to find out, there are real race nets. They have expiration dates, and once they expire, they're worth like nothing. They're worth like nothing because everything that you race with, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, everything has to all be inside your car FIA approved. If it's not approved, if it's not within the expiration date, if it's past the expiration date, you're not going to race. Like, it's simple as that. So what's that mean for racers like us? We can take all the expired stuff for a super cheap cost and have it. So that's freaking great to me, right? So let's go ahead and keep moving here. So I added some 40/40 framing here as well. As you can see, like I extended this just a little bit, added some brackets. This is about 58 inches tall. I ran one across here. And then I created a bracket right here where I also hit my right speaker, have a column going all the way down, again, about 58 inches. And then some other, here's the Philips Hue. Here's a little box as well. One thing to note that maybe you guys don't know this, I actually added 20 amp out because truthfully, this room was tripping all the freaking time. And when it was tripping, my whole rig would shut off, obviously, right? So I had to get installed some larger outlets or some bigger breakers. So I got 20 amp ran, and since then, I have not had any issues with electronics, electricity, whatsoever. And in fact, after installing those, my electricity bill actually substantially went down, which makes sense, right? I think. It's still high, but relatively better. So, and again, and just to film this real quick for you guys, here's the side flooring, just to get into this real briefly. And I'm gonna be going into the schematics of everything as well. So please don't freak out. I promise you I'm gonna go into the schematics and lengths in the next video as well. This bottom diamond plate, that's actual diamond plate floor that I actually ordered. Right over here, that is wrapped vinyl. This is real chrome diamond flooring. I got 2 pieces, and this is all on a little bit of an angle over here. And as you can see, I still have the same solution as last time. I have everything kind of like on, and it works, right? So this whole wall also, going all the way up to the ceiling, is all soundproof because I got my daughter's room on the other side of this. So this does help a little bit, but not fully. So just to cover real quick, so we went over the main components, we went over the frame. Oh, the triple monitor stand, just briefly on that real quick. I bought that from Rig Metal, amazing prices. They're all US based, I believe, as well. I think I paid $359, $360 for triple monitor stand. I think that's pretty essential to have everything on aluminum profile because previously, and I will tell you this from experience, do not buy tubular design triple stands. They fail, they sag, they suck, okay? Take it from experience. Get yourself some aluminum profile. Really, aluminum profile everything is the way to go. Like, that should be. I went over my seat. Here's the computer. We went over the computer specs. Again, this is an RTX 3080 on an AMD 5800X on 2560 by 1440p, 165 hertz. Like, it's not crazy. I know I just said a mouthful, but it's really not an insanely, grossly crazy setup. It's mid-tier. 3080 it's a little bit above average, but it's nothing like 4090s, okay? So, and once the 5090s drop, I am going to also upgrade to a 4080 Super, okay? Oh, yes, so one thing to note here, I also have, I promise, and I'm also getting this sent. So this is a 10.3 inch display unit. The drawback to this unit, just to cover this real briefly, was that it has multiple inputs here. So you have your power, you have a USB-C, you have a HDMI. There's like 3 different outputs this damn thing up, and it's ridiculous. Nobody wants to do that. So I contacted Simrudu, AliExpress. Said, listen guys, we gotta come up with a simpler solution. And you wouldn't believe what the conversation that we had. Like, they created a solution. They created one USB-C running directly into the computer as a built-in GPU, and on top of that, it's not going to be consuming your actual computer. It's just going to be a stand. It just powers on, all with one cord, USB-C, all integrated. Boom, plug in, go, instead of 3 different. So much better. And I'll be covering that here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. Okay, so we covered sound and the haptics, right? One thing to note about how I'm powering bass shakers, this is all being controlled by a couple of amps. The main amp is Fozzy. It's 600 watt 2-channel amp with an external sound card. And that external sound card looks just like this, right? The amp is tucked right in between here. And what that allows me to do, I have a variable gain, I have bass control, gain, and everything like that. And this is all controlled via SimHub. And again, just to cover these bass shakers real quickly, if you can't necessarily go the motion route, this is the next best thing. This is one of the best things that you can do to bring your rig literally to life, so that you're able to feel the curbs, to feel the bumps, to feel the simulated road texture. If somebody rammed you from, the side, you're kind of feeling this whole dynamic. It brings the experience to a new level. And if they're off, you don't want to play, because you kind of get spoiled. Went over the sound, went over the haptics, went over the lighting. That's pretty much going to be it. If you guys have any questions whatsoever on this little tour video, please drop them below. And with that, I'll see you guys on the track.